What's up, everybody? This is Jordan Kurtz with comments from the Peanut Gallery, as well as the MMA plug powered by DenverSportsBetting.com and Mile High Sports. I'm here with my man, Austin Osmosis Jones. How you doing, Austin?
Doing well, doing well.
Thanks so much for hopping on with me right here. So we're going to go through with you real quick. UFC Fight Island card, Holm versus Aldana. We're going to go through with a couple of picks that we think as far as the matchup-by-matchup breakdown goes, as well as give you a couple of our locks of the night. As always, you can check out the DenverSportsBetting.com website. There's a phenomenal promotion going on right now with Bet Rivers Colorado, to where you can get up to $250 matched as far as your initial deposit goes. So please visit DenverSportsBetting.com for all of those details. Austin, how do you feel about this card tonight, man? You ready to make some money?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Let's go.
Yo, I've got my man Austin on this little game here, and he's gotten hooked in these last couple of weeks because your boy just happens to be a little bit knowledgeable about what he does. So let's take a look right from the top. Main event, who do you have?
I'm about to go with Holm on that one.
You like Holly?
Yeah.
Okay. I like Holly as well. So I think that's going to be a solid pick, but I do have to say that is maybe on my part, full disclosure, that is betting with my head maybe, or excuse me, betting with my heart a little bit more than my head. There is great value in the Aldana pick, so I'm not 100% sold that this is the lock of the year. That's just being full disclosure on my end. I'm just a huge fan of the Preacher's Daughter. I think that where she's at right now, she's in a must-win sort of situation to stay relevant, and I believe that she will come out with a sense of urgency against Aldana tonight. The co-main event, we have Jorgen De Castro against Carlos Felipe. Who do you think?
I'm going to take Castro on that one.
I agree. I think that Jorgen De Castro is going to be able to get this one done. Overall, though, folks, I think the safest bet, if you're taking a look at the lines with this matchup, because it's pretty much a pick 'em if you're looking at the odds. What I would say is going to be the safer bet for you to have some sort of return on your investment for your bet is that this one is not going to go the distance. Somebody's getting knocked out in this fight. These are two big boys that are going to come out banging. Somebody's going to sleep. The feature fight of the night. You have former champion GDR, Vendramini, the Iron Lady, going against Juliana Pena. Austin, who do you have in this one?
I think I'm going to go with Pena on this one.
You like Pena?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on this one, and I'm going to go with the Iron Lady. I just think that Jermaine is so polished overall. Juliana's great, but this is my personal take, that Juliana's commentary is so bad for Combate that it makes me pick against her when she actually fights. That may not be the best strategy in the world, but it is what it is. Next fight from there, you have a pretty wide gap as far as the odds go. You have Kyler Phillips taking on Cameron Else. Who do you have in this one?
I'm going to have to go with the safer bet, and I'll go with Phillips there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Phillips is one of the locks of the night. The last that I checked, he was at more than a minus 400 favorite. So I think that you're kind of crazy going against him. But as far as individual money line picks, you may not have the highest return. That's something that you may want to look at stacking within a parlay, or taking a flyer on what you think a finish might be, or a particular round where that might be finished for that matchup. If we're looking at the next one on this main card, you have Dequan Townsend against Dusko Torovic. So this matchup, this one is it's interesting because you have a debut guy who is, I believe he's 8 years younger than Townsend. I like Dusko myself. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you on that one. Yeah, just to be safe. I don't really know too much about those guys, but I trust your judgment there.
Yeah, all full disclosure, I don't know too much. I haven't seen too much film on Dusko, but we have seen Dequan Townsend a couple of times in the UFC. He's got a very unique backstory. Since he's been to the UFC, he's 0 for 3. So I like the young undefeated prospect, who I think he has a lot of promise in this particular matchup. The next one is, I feel like the odds are almost disrespectful in this line. You have two bona fide veterans, two of the most tried and true guys for the last 10, 15 years within the sport, where you have Tough 11 champion Court McGee taking on the natural born killer and former interim welterweight champion Carlos Condit. Austin, what do you have there?
Got to go with my guy Court. He's come in, he's trained with us, and his wrestling's super solid. not scared to get hit. I think he puts the pressure on Condit, he takes him down and submits him.
As of this morning, folks, Court was only a plus 130 favorite. That to me is insane. Yes, Court may have dropped his last 2 fights, but one of them was a very close decision to Diego Lima, in which one of those judges did see it going Court's way. You also take a look at the Sean Brady fight. In the Sean Brady matchup, he was 30 seconds away from breaking one of the hottest young prospects in the entire welterweight division. So when you look at that in contrast to the last few losses that Carlos Condit has had, Condit has not looked good in those losses. I like Court by finish. Don't know which way that it's going to happen. There could very well be the submission that presents itself, but knowing Court, Austin, he's called the Crusher for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I've felt his pressure. It's not fun.
I was going to say, have you ever felt a man with a tighter squeeze or more pressure at welterweight?
And his ground and pound is very, very highly underrated.
His ground and pound has the ability to just break bones right then and there. So if we take a look at the next matchup, from there you have Charles Jourdain out of Canada, and I'm sure I'm butchering the hell out of that French pronunciation, against Joshua Culibao. Now, if we know anything about Islanders, we know that the Islanders can always fight. They're always going to bring a scrap to the table. However, Austin?
Got to go with Jourdain on that one.
I agree. Jourdain has had some very tough matchups so far since he's been in the UFC, and he's proved that he belongs. In this particular scenario, I like him having the experience on his side. He's a very staggering favorite as far as the odds go, similar to the way that Kyler Phillips was, so this may be another one that you want to look to try to stack in those parlays, just to try to maximize your overall value on this bet. The next one from there, we're looking at Jordan Williams against Nasruddin Imavov. Now, Jordan Williams, he is fresh off of a first-round victory just a couple weeks ago at the Contender Series. He won by first-round knockout against RoboCop, and Bisping might have had the most savage in-ring, almost roast, if you will, of his opponent that I've ever seen. His opponent, like I say, was nicknamed RoboCop, and as Jordan started to put it on him, Bisping starts in the middle, RoboCop, abort mission, abort mission. It was like, Jesus Christ, Bisping, that's a little much. But so taking this into account, Jordan Williams, it should be noted that he is a guy who does not cut weight to make 85. He's a small middleweight, and he's fighting a guy who typically, or in his last few matchups at least, has fought at welterweight. So you're not really seeing a major difference or a major advantage if we're talking about the size game. Personally, I like Williams. What about you?
Got Imavov.
You got Imavov? Okay. I mean, that's a pick 'em. I mean, the last that I saw, it was literally dead even money. It was a 110-110 split as far as the odds go. So literally, throw a dart at a wall, and whichever name you're closest to, put your money on that guy. I don't think that is a lock on either side. I just happen to like the fire that Jordan showed a couple weeks ago on the Contender Series. The next matchup, we're gonna see a scrap. We're gonna see 2 very technical Thai fighters. One of them actually being the first ever Thai fighter signed to the UFC, and Loma Lakbunmi. I'm so sorry, sweetie, that I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm not trying to. It's just not my specialty. Jin Frey is going to be on the other side. We've seen Jin Frey on one of these COVID cards already. Austin, I don't know if you've seen a whole lot from either of these two because they're so new. One of them is, or actually they're both only a fight into their UFC. No, Frey might be too. That's my mistake. I'm butchering this right now. But what do you think for this matchup here? Both fought at atomweight at one point, so they're going to be on the smaller size spectrum for the strawweights.
I have to go with Luke Boomami. Yeah, I think that's it, right?
I would have to agree personally. You know, it's hard to say because we don't know enough at this weight really from either of them. But I think that it's gonna be a scrap. They both like to strike, and you're gonna see Loma, whose father owned a gym over in Thailand. She's been training martial arts ever since she was 7 years old. She's very highly skilled and super technical. I think that we're gonna see that technique really come out to light And you're going to see maybe someone who can blossom into a future star with some flashy skill in that 115-pound division. I think the next fight, the fact that it is so low on the card, that it's buried at this point, I don't know what the thought process is behind this one with Casey Kenny, but I think Casey Kenny is extremely talented.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. I'm going to go with him on that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, Casey Kenny is as tough as nails. Yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot of talking, but his performances do the talking for him. He's a guy who is the only 2-division champion in LFA history. He comes into the UFC and he's only lost once since he's made it to the big dance, and albeit to a guy in Merab Davishvili who is climbing up the ranks and who is basically kicking down the door for a top 10 opponent. He hasn't just knocked or asked for his opportunity. He's literally kicked and took it. So if that is your only stub of the toe, once you've gotten to this level, Austin, I think that puts you in a pretty good place as far as the division standings go.
I would say so. Big time.
And Casey Kenny can turn it into a dogfight too.
We've also seen him do that. That's what I want to see, for sure.
Yeah.
I think this card's going to be filled with a bunch of crazy fights.
Yeah, personally, I think that Casey Kenny can get the finish in this fight. I think that the gap just in relation to strength of schedule, if you will, taking a turn from a man, the former D1 football player, here's world. I think that the strength of schedule that Casey Kenny has is stronger. That being said, with him being that high of a favor in the odds makers' eyes, I think that he can get that finish, personally. Moving on to the curtain puller with our guy, Factory X teammate Luigi Vendramini against Jessen Ayari. How do you see it?
Obviously, we got Luigi. His jiu-jitsu is amazing. I think he's going to take this fight to the ground. I think he truly believes in his jiu-jitsu, but his striking is something not to be played with either. So I think if he mixes it up against him, he's going to pull it off.
I would agree. I think that's a very solid pick on that end. Luigi, the one concern that I have for him is that it's been so long since we've seen him in action due to the injuries and the surgeries that he's had to have. But I will also say that through all film and just watching him flow and work, he does not look like there's any sort of lingering effects from those injuries. It looks like his movement is back to full capacity.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it looks great.
So I like Luigi as far as that matchup goes. I'm going to hit you off real quick with what I think are a few locks for the night that I've personally put into a parlay. Again, make of this what you will. This is just who I think and who I'm putting some trust in based off of my gut feeling. I've been doing pretty well with this a little bit recently, so we'll see if the hot hand continues. Eventually, it always runs out. There's peaks and valleys. This is sports gambling, but when you're above that 65% threshold, you're doing pretty well. What I can say as far as where we've been picking with the MMA plug, Austin, I'm just under 70% since these COVID cards started.
That's not bad at all.
That's
not bad at all.
That's doing pretty well, my man.
Right?
I'm smoking that full Gianni from ESPN.
Nice little bonuses and all that good stuff.
Exactly. But so let's take a look at this. This is going to be a 6-leg parlay. I think that the first one that I'm adding within that is going to be the Dusko fight. I'm also adding Casey Kenny into the mix. These are all money line too, folks. Money line, so this is going to be the lowest risk of these two parlays that I'm going to present to you. Then also Court McGee, Charles Jourdain, Luigi Vendramini, and Kyler Phillips. So that's a 6-leg parlay of just straight money line picks that I'm going along with. Now, if you're feeling a little bit bold, here's the chance to where you can really kind of make that come up with not a whole lot of investment in it. But again, keep in mind, there's a lot more risk involved when you're starting to pick finishes or how the round or whatever may go. You're just going to incur a little bit more risk, so that's why the payout is also higher. If we're looking at this particular 5-leg parlay, I'm picking the finish in Casey Kenny. I'm also going with the finish from Jourdain. I think that it is not going to go the distance with the De Castro and the Felipe fight. I also think that it's not going the distance in the Court McGee-Carlos Condit fight. And I do think that Jordan Williams, this is my flyer of this parlay, but this was something that gave me a nice little extra over-the-top boost for my odds. I'm taking Jordan Williams by finish. Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to go with that. Jordan Williams as well by finish, for sure. And then, which other ones there?
So my 5-pick parlay. The Casey Kenny finish, the Charles Jourdain finish.
Casey Kenny finish for sure. Yeah.
And then it not going to the cards, it not going the distance for De Castro and Philippe, and then also not going the distance in the court fight.
Ooh, I got the finish on the court fight though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that it's going to end by finish. Yeah, those two will end by finish. Didn't take the actual, although I do believe that it will be court by finish, you have to keep in mind that Carlos Condit still has some of the most elite kicking that's been out there within the sport's history. So there is always the chance that someone who does have such an elite skill set as far as one of the striking arts goes, they may still always get lucky. There's always that puncher's chance. That is why I chose to go with it, not just straight up not going the distance, that it's going to be finished, but not choosing who. Because it's still going to give you a good odd boost in terms of your payout, but it's not going to ultimately pigeonhole you to rely on court getting the finish. So please let us know what you think. If we help you out with some odds, please let us know. We'd love to shout you out and give you just a little bit of love out here on the airwaves and the show. Austin, thanks for jumping on with me.
Appreciate it. See you guys in UFC soon.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Have a good one, folks.
Yep.